Hi everybody, today I've decided to record my first ever classroom tour. I am a second grade teacher in Texas, and this year I've decided to do a farmhouse um, slash home suite classroom combination decor. So here we go. The top of my wall there has my clock. I got this from Teachers to Pay Teachers. I thought it was really cool because not only does it help the students realize, the 5-minute increments on the clock, but I just thought it was a cool vibe to have that fan look on my clock there. Behind the door, I have my go-getters, and it's just a bunch of little mason jars, and basically each student has one, and they earn a sticker if they go up on a reading level, or if they get 100 on any test, or if they set any personal goals that they achieve. So that is what I use that for. Here I've decided to do a cubby. Each individual student has a slot, and I've made these cute little faces. Of course, I didn't know what my students look like. It's just a random photo for each student, and I decided to put 3 little baskets. Those baskets I got at the Dollar Tree sometime over the summer. So I say that they were holding up pretty well since it's January now, and they're still going strong. I have my name tags in there, soap and hand sanitizer, and then I hide the ugly tissue box inside of that as well. Here on the side is our school motto and our pride. That's something that we say every single day when we start our day, and even in the announcements. The announcements are run by students here at our school. And since, like I said, I'm a second grade teacher, so they're all run by elementary students, typically in 3rd and 4th grade. But they do an awesome job. Obviously, they have a mentor that helps them out, but very, very good job that they do. Our school believes in conscious discipline, and so this is kind of like my wall that's dedicated to that. The I wish you well board that's there on the bottom. Every one of my students has a little face, and if they're absent that particular day, we put them in the middle of our heart, and we wish them well, hoping that they return to our back to our class as soon as possible. There is my ancillary, or just my my schedule for the day. I was gonna say ancillary schedule, because what I've done recently is instead of saying where we're going for ancillary, I've just decided to do a very generic format of that. I used to put up like, we're going to the gym today, we're going to music, whatever. Now I've just made it a little bit more generic, and it's been helping a lot. Not to be having to switch it out every single day, because as you know, teachers are crazy busy, and it's kind of hard to forget to do that. I just put my text features posters up like in the last 30 minutes. It is the beginning of January, and so we'll be hitting our nonfiction genre this semester, and so I have those up. We have our CHAMPS board. Some of you may be familiar with CHAMPS, which stands for conversation, help, activity, movement, participation, and S is for success. And sometimes I even put S is for supplies, and sometimes I let them know through there what it is that they'll be using for that particular activity. And basically what I do is I turn on the lights as depending on the activity that we're doing, so they can know which level we're working at. There are several more levels, but I just have 0, which is no talking at all, 1, which is very low voice or whisper mode, and then 2, it's kind of just our normal everyday talk. So that helps a lot. I'll switch it out, for every activity. If we're doing rotations, I'll just hit the rotations. I don't have to keep getting up every 10 minutes or however long our rotations are. So last year I had them hanging. As you can see, some of them have like the little hole where I was hanging them. But this year I decided to do the lights because I saw that on Pinterest. And it has been working pretty good. The only thing is, you tend to run out of batteries for those lights that you hit all the time. There's our champs sign again. Every one of my rotations or my stations has a champ sign to let them know which level they're supposed to be on at that area. This is our my I love you box, which in conscious discipline terms is actually called the safekeeper box. And the safekeeper box holds their stick figures. And we carry this around whenever we go to ancillary. One of my students' jobs is to take this box with them and tell the ancillary teacher how many students are present for the day. And and we do that for several reasons. I think we've had some fire drills in the past and they weren't sure who was absent and all that, so it kind of helps with that as well. So in the morning part of our morning routine is for the teacher to say, which I say, it's my job to keep you safe, and the students say, and it's my job, and it's our job to help keep it that way. So everybody knows to be using their walking feet, their appropriate voice level, and whatnot. So it's just a friendly reminder, I guess, because obviously they're not going to be following these rules all the time, even though I would love for them to do that all day long. But it's a reminder, to where they're supposed to be at, what commitment that they choose. I love this box also because it reminds me to tell my students that I love them. I know some of my students are in the past or whatever, sometimes have a rough time at home. There might be different things going on. And so I just like to tell them that I love them, just so that they could feel safe and loved while they're at school. This board is where I have my my centers and rotations information. So I do have the reading one and the math, and basically I have my students grouped in 4 big tables, as you'll see, or as you did see at the beginning. And so each group goes to that station, and so basically once that group gets to that station, they just kind of rotate clockwise until they finish all 4 stations. I do try to do 4 stations every single day, which means that my rotations usually are about 15 minutes or so. And then I have the extra little cards that I'll change out depending on what activity we're doing. But for the most part, these are pretty much the same on a regular basis. It's always a writing station, read to yourself, iStation or Dreambox, which is our technology, and word work, some type of vocabulary lesson. Over here in the corner, I have my classroom birthdays, and I also have our classroom jobs. And honestly, I don't change my jobs very often, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, because usually they're barely getting good at it, quote unquote, or they know exactly what to do in that position. And I hate to switch it all the time. I used to switch it like every 5 days or so, and it was just too much. So now we just switch every 2 to 3 weeks, depending. And then each person just kind of goes over one spot. So everybody does a job, one of those jobs. Up here I have my yet sign. Our school also believes in growth mindset, as many of you do as well. And so it's just a reminder for me and for them to tell them, we may not be there yet, but we're going to get there. We just have to practice so that we can keep learning. You may see there in the middle of my tree, I tried to hide it as much as I could by getting a neutral color. It's my doorbell, and I do use the doorbell. I use 2 different sounds. One is my cleanup bell, and then one is our switch bell, switch to the next station bell, so they know what the sound means. And so for the most part, they do it on their own. Every blue moon, I have to remind them, okay, let's go, time to move. This is part of my library here. And what I've decided this year, and actually I had a numbering system, since day one, I think, but this is where I'm at today, where I just number the box, and then each book that's in the box has a number right there in the corner. and it corresponds with the box, so that they know exactly where the box goes. There's no questions about where does this go. Now, some of my Dogman books are, don't fit anymore, so I'm going to need to make a new box for that. But anyways, this is how my students leave my library and my classroom, guys. Every single day, they're pretty organized, because I guess we've practiced so much that they know exactly how I would like for the classroom to be at all times. And so everybody has their part and pitches in. Part of my library includes these stadium chairs here. That's the first year that I've used them. Basically, you fold them over, kind of like a beach chair, like a banana chair from like back in the day. And then you can make them flat as well. And they have so many different colors. I don't know why I just decided to do a green. And then I have these little table chairs as well that the students use during reading, where you sit like on this side, and then this becomes like you hold it with your weight, your body weight basically, and then this becomes like a table. So sometimes they write on there, sometimes they put their book on there. So they've enjoyed, using those. But they do take up quite a bit of space. That's the only thing. But it seems to be working out okay there. I guess because sometimes when they take those little tables off, then that bench opens up, and then a couple of students can sit there and read. But my tables are no more than 5 kids at a table, and so there's plenty of spaces for them to sit. There's my whisper phones, my big center, my big book center is there as well. And then I have these round chair things that I got from IKEA, and they can pull those out as well. And then I have my wobbly inflatable seats there that some students can use. This is the other part of my library. So I do have 40 bins at this time. And in second grade, you do still have a variety of like bigger books that don't fit in these like square containers. And so I have the thinner ones. Then I have placed the books sideways. So each one has a skinny and a thick bin in there. I tried to do like 2 big ones, but it was short by like half an inch. So I was upset about that. But it worked out when I saw these bins. All of these bins are from Lakeshore. I'm not sponsored by anybody. All of these things I have bought on my own. As all of you guys know, when you're a teacher, you usually don't get any money from your school. And if you do, you get we get $25 in the second semester, and we get $50 at the beginning of the year. But I mean, really, $50 is nothing. I have my sharpeners over here and a few dictionaries and thesaurus located here. I do have 3 sharpeners, and I have not emptied those. Sorry about that. But this is regular pencil sharpener. This is MAP pencils, and also those pencils that have just that, I guess that cover or whatever, like they'll have hearts or whatever on it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. That tends to get stuck in these, so I use that pencil sharpener for that. And then this is a crayon sharpener, and I just got that about a month ago. My students love it, but it's very delicate, just to let you know. I try not to let my students use it. I try to sharpen the crayons, but it does waste your crayons, so I tell them not to use it very often. Over here I have my our class compliments. I don't have any owls in here, but I just liked it because it was brown. And basically, we get a chain link. We get 2 chain links if we're in the hallway, and someone gives us a compliment about how our line is straight and quiet. And so the chain links will add up, and once they touch the floor, they earn a reward. As you can see, we've been in school August, September, October, November, December, and they've only had 2 chain links touch the floor. So it's not easy to get those, so they really cherish that class reward when they get it. Here's my anchor chart wall. We have a growth mindset. I want to put we are scholars. I think that would be something I'm going to put next year instead of we have a growth mindset. There's my farmhouse little wreaths for decorations on each side, and then each one of my table signs has the wreath with like the table number. And I only have 4 tables, but my tables are 4 or 5 per group. So I started off with 22 students this year, then I went down to 20, and right now I'm at 19. And so not bad. I can handle 19. I like it much better when it's numbers even less, but I like it better than 22 or higher because it is difficult to teach quite a bit of kids. I know you guys I've seen on YouTube will have 27 students, or I mean that's so many. I don't know how y'all do it. So kudos to you guys. Awesome, awesome. Keep up the awesome job. This is our lamp, our class lamp. Basically, when I turn off all the lights, it gets kind of dark. We could see the board, Promethean board really well, but it's too dark for my students to work or to write, take notes and whatnot. And so I decided to do a lamp this year, and it's been working out pretty good. Here's our fix-up strategy posters that we use during reading. This is my small group table here and my caddy back there, my 3-tier caddy. I had a horseshoe table like most of you do, and it just takes up so much space. And so at the beginning of this year, I just decided to take it out into the hallway. And then I found this table. So basically, when you take something out in the hallway and you put a sign like not needed, people come by and they pick up what they want out of furniture and stuff. And that's how we get furniture in our room. But every single thing here, like all my tables, like where my computers are sitting right there, and the little stools that are underneath it, all those things I buy, that I have bought. But like the big desks and like the big rectangular tables, I mean, those come from the school. And I thought I was going to get in trouble because I didn't have a horseshoe table, but nobody told me anything. So I'm feeling pretty good about keeping a little bit more space in my classroom. I have 2 of these real big filing cabinets in my classroom. I have that one and that one. One is mine. One was the school secretary got some new furniture, and so I inherited her old file cabinet. But to be honest with you, it's like perfectly fine, and I love that it's like beige and brown because it goes with my theme, and I think I'm going to stick to this color scheme for a couple of years. I am one of those teachers that changes my decor every single year, and it is expensive, guys, but I feel like I spend so much time here. Like honestly, I'll get here like 5:30 in the morning and I won't leave till 8 or 9 sometimes. And so it's like I see this place more than my home, and so I feel like I want this place to be just as cozy as my home is, and so that's why I do it. But this year I saw some of y'all posting like the no spend or low spend videos, so I think I'm gonna go for that low spend and see what happens. If anything, my savings will grow, so I'm excited about that. I do have a microwave and a fridge in my classroom. It's super tiny, but it works because, you know, sometimes I'll bring like just juices or something. I really don't have time to eat or anything. It's just so much. I'm a 2nd grade teacher and I'm self-contained. That means I teach every single subject. So I teach math, reading, writing, science, social studies, handwriting, I mean, you name it, everything under the sun. And it's so much stuff that we need. And so I've been trying to get as organized as possible. I saw this on Pinterest, like just this little boxes with these cool labels, and I said, okay, I have to do that so I can be organized during math time. And so that's really helped my students know exactly where everything is. Typically, I'm the one that will pull the box, and then we get the manipulatives or whatever from there. I went to Hobby Lobby and I got these, they're scrapbook page holders. So they're not your average magazine holders. Like they're not like 8.5 by 11 or whatever. They're 12 by 12s. And so it's worked out because this is where I keep like all of my mentor text. And we have the Fountains and Pinnell read aloud system. And so some of those books are from them. Actually, that top row that I've numbered is Fountains and Pinnell, and all the other ones are my personal mentor texts that I use for lessons and whatnot. So on the bottom there, I have my guided reading books that I use during small group time, and then here in these big cabinets, I have my like A to Z readers, and I put them all in alphabetical order. So that we can do a different book every few days or whenever we meet. and then I have them by level. And then these red folders actually have like the assessment and the running record form, so I can test them to see if they move up to the next level and so on. So we'll do D, and then we'll test them, and then we'll get to E, and so on and so forth. So that was a lot of work. It was my like teacher goal last year, like for my evaluation, and so I was working on that throughout the year. And this drawer here, number 1, has all the fiction A to Z, and then this is nonfiction. Then down here I have like close reading information by levels also. And then this is where I keep like my extra like dry erase boards and sleeves and stuff like that. And my little table, or my little 3-tier cart there, it just has a variety of things that the kids can use for while they're reading, pointers and stuff like that. On this wall here I have my alphabet and my numbers. I do have the alphabet in print and in cursive. And then I have my big word work area over here, where they have their pocket charts and the spelling words. And each one of my corners, you'll see that it has these 2 bins. One is for reading, one is for math, when we do our rotations during reading block or during math block. And then I do tend to have clipboards around the room so that they can use that. My cabinets have become kind of like more space, like wall space to my anchor charts and stuff like that. Here on the bottom of this drawer is my manipulative bags for math time. Every student has a bag, and it has their like 100 blocks, and it'll have like Unifix cubes and stuff like that. So they're by table. So if you sit in table 1, your bags are in this area, table 2, so on and so forth. Up here is the stuff that I've accumulated, like maybe extra copies and stuff, so I need to clean that out. And here I have just extra supplies, I guess pencils, erasers, and I labeled them a little bit there. These are some of the graphic organizers that I've made, like for math. I put all the graphic organizers that they may need, and then I just put them in a ring holder, and then the students can use it during math. My privacy folder, some more dictionaries and thesauruses there. Since they work right here, I try to put some here and not just on the other side of the room. Conscious discipline also obviously believes like in a lot of kindness and empathy, and so I did this little box here with some cards that they can write to their parents or to their friends when somebody's feeling sick or they're out or whatever. I like this idea that I saw, I don't know, years and years ago on Pinterest. So it's my earbuds holder, and every kid has a spot for their earbuds. This is my mess. So if you're wondering, like, where's all her stuff? Well, I try to clean it as much as possible, but this year I decided to get this 3-tier buggy thing, and I roll it around whenever I need to, but lately it hasn't rolled a lot, and it's holding a lot of my stuff. So I need to clean that off because I want to start the new year fresh and clean. And so, yes, I do have a mess on there. The other part of my mess is over here, so I got to clean that, and then like right there. So I do have some spots, guys, that I need to work on, but for the most part, like, my students leave this place like really, really clean, and so it makes me very happy that they care, enough to try to keep this place looking good. I try not to harp on the fact that, like, money doesn't come for free. You have to work hard to have everything that you have, so you need to take care of it. So back here, I just have my computer. I have one of these like mesh holders, like a riser, and so that's helped. But it's helped that it picks up my screen, but it doesn't help because I stick so much junk right there on the bottom of it. These are my 2 bells that I was talking about. One bell is, I put it like in that red hand sanitizer holder, and that means like stop and clean up. And then my green bell is, okay, it's time for you to switch. This little cones are when the students leave. I'm an all inclusive or classroom. So basically, I have GT students, I have quote unquote regular students, and then I have special ed, I have able, like autism kids. So my classroom is a variety of students. And so sometimes they have to leave like for resource or to get, additional help and stuff from other teachers. And so when they do, I tell them to put one of these cones on their table because I could have several students leave at once. And I just need to know who's in the classroom. I mean, they don't tend to use those like when they're going to the restroom or anything because that's like really quick, a minute or two. But this is more like when they're out for 30 minutes or whatever. Back there, my classroom has an accordion, so as you can see, like one of the walls is an accordion wall, so you can move it and close it. And but I like it because you can open it however much you want to open it. I normally try not to because I do speak on a louder with a louder voice. But back here is where I have like my safe place, since we believe in conscious discipline. And so I have my safe place, and I have like their buggy with all their fidgets that they can use when they're taking a break, quote unquote. And basically, it's they need to figure out how to calm themselves, and we do that every day. We practice. They can use the star, the balloon, the pretzel, the train, and they think about how they can calm down and gain their composure so that they could come back into the classroom and work, be efficient. So here I have my family and friends wall, and basically it's just a bunch of pictures of my students and their families that they've brought so that they can see them. So back there, really, so this cabinet is where I keep like my teacher personal stuff, and then those two cabinets, I have two next to each other. That's where I keep like the students' backpacks and stuff like that. So I have these little leaves from IKEA. I got those a couple of years ago, and I try to always incorporate them in my room. I only have, I think, 3, and you can get those online now because there was a time when you couldn't really shop on IKEA online. You had to go in person, so I'm so thankful that they're online now. And just some posters that I have up there. My red clock that I use every day for time purposes, how much time is left. I do have one in my small table, so I don't have to keep getting up as well. Down here is our commitments. Every morning during our morning routines, they pick a commitment that they're going to work on, whether it's walking feet or watching eyes or putting everything back in its place. Whatever it is that they may need help on, they pick, and then they work on that throughout the day or multiple days, depending on how they feel. This is my Promethean board area, so obviously it's my whole group area, and this is where my students will sit. And this is the first year I put like a little bench there. Sometimes I had it like on the side or whatever, but I've liked it there in the middle. And I always go over my rug rolls, how to sit, how to listen when we're there, and then how to turn and talk to each other, because a lot of times they won't even look at each other like at the beginning of the year. And so we teach them how to communicate properly, and then they can use these accountable talk posters. I would like to add, I agree or I disagree, but respectfully. And I recently, during the Thanksgiving break, I added my little writing center here. And so it's just like kind of like shared writing there. This is basically like roll a story, and I have some there, and they use the dice and they write whatever they pick. And then here it's more like prompt writing, where I'll change out the spirals, and then they're responsible for writing in there once a week on one journal. So every day they have to write one story. I saw this, of course, on Pinterest, and I just loved it. And so at first I just had the crayons like loose in there, but it was kind of hard to know what colors there were. And then when I saw these little cups, I just thought it was perfect. So now I've been using that as well. Here is my where I keep my objectives, and then also my question stamps and my mentor sentence, my perfect attendance. We go down one little letter every time my whole class is present. I do like to use hand signals in my class because I don't like to be interrupted when I'm teaching, especially during small group if you need to go to the restroom or, water or whatever. These are the three states in conscious discipline: the survival state, the emotional, and the executive state. And so we teach the kids how to progress from one state of mind to another so that they can be successful in the classroom and in and out of the classroom. This is my word wall. Most people will call it like word wall. I call mine words to know, and I do not have mine by ABCs. I have mine by concept. And so whenever, like when I taught the poetry lessons, these are the words that we saw the most, and so those are the words that go up on the board. Now, every student has a personal A to Z, like with words that they can't spell, that they've had a hard time spelling. So, like, let's say the word because, they'll put it in their journal, and it's their go-to place whenever they need it to spell that word, and they know they have a hard time with it. They have to add it there, and they use it whenever they need it. These are 3 little stools that I've gotten online. Here's another one of those IKEA stools that they can pull out. But basically, the students use this kind of like a little bench. But I also have like a Ziploc bag in there, like a gallon-sized bag, with all of their extra supplies that they brought like at the beginning of the school year. So when they run out, I take a picture of the empty bag and I send it to their parents as a reminder, like, hey, your daughter or your son needs some more blank. So that's been working out. This is the first time I've ever done that because normally I feel kind of guilty and I go to Walmart and I go to wherever and I buy everything. But I am not going to do that anymore. It's very expensive for me to be buying supplies for 20 students all year long. So I know it sounds horrible, but I'm not going to do it anymore because it does take a lot of time and money, and I need to be investing that time and money, in my own family. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to show you a quick view of how I decorated or how I set up my classroom this year. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I hope that you guys got some kind of inspiration or motivation or ideas or anything that you can use in your own classroom. And let's see, what else did I want to show you? I wanted to go outside rather quickly, and I wanted to tell you how I set up like the outside board. This is the apron that we use in the morning greetings. So our conscious discipline says, we have to greet our students. I mean, I've always done that regardless of which school is doing conscious discipline or not. But basically, we stand here at the door, and the students will choose one of these greetings, and then they come in the door. Here is our "Where are we?" sign, and so wherever we go, if we're going to art, one of my students' jobs will be to move it to art, or wherever it is that we're going for the day, for that ancillary time. Here's my my outside board. I just did it in that that looks like 10, and just hello, be grateful. And so this year I decided to use these little clips, and so the clips have been helpful a lot. Have been helping because I easily put on and remove whatever work I want to showcase for the week. So it's been a lot easier to do that instead of taking out all the staples and then stapling it back and all that. So so that's what I've done here on the outside. I did one of those little awnings just to match. That is 2 awnings. If you guys see that anywhere, you need 2 for one particular door. All right, so I think that concludes my classroom tour. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And I'll be trying to put some more videos up of how I do some of my things, how I keep my class structured and stuff. Okay, have a great day.